Final day of the Annapurna circuit, headed to Nyapul. So it looks like we start the trek with some very steep drops. We got up around 7 a.m. that morning, and it was a beautiful morning, but the trek started off with immediate steep drops. And while the steep drops were very difficult on the knees, I had to be careful not to sprain them because I had injured my knees from previous treks. But it was a relief to know that we were going back to ground level, or going back and getting closer to civilization. The scenery was beautiful, though it was nothing compared to what we had seen at some of the higher altitudes. As we were getting lower and lower and getting closer to Nyapul, I could tell that there were more and more houses, there was more civilization, and I could tell that the end of Annapurna Circuit was on its way. There were also more roads, more tea houses, lots more development. It was also getting so much hotter at the lower altitude, and it was very humid. We saw a jeep taking people up the trek, which is what you would need because something like a tuk-tuk would most likely not make it. But yeah, the trek was beautiful, and I was really excited to know that I was about to be done with it. So it's very humid out here today. I'm definitely getting sweaty. Luckily, the tremendous downhill part seems to be over, and it's a little more steady now, which I think is a good thing. I don't really like it when it's like down, 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 because it's really hard on the knees. We came across more bridges. Another bridge. How fun. The terrain was changing drastically as we went lower and lower. We kept passing by more and more little huts, and we took several resting stops that day. I hoped that we would be able to be done with the trek by about lunchtime, but that wasn't the case. So I've came across another little village. I think I'm going to take a little rest here before I proceed on. More downhill. We continued to see more and more signs. There was a Himalayan art gallery which told us that we were likely getting closer and closer. It seemed that we were at the very beginning of Nyapul, which was going to be the ending point for Annapurna Circuit. Nyapul was going to be the point at which we would track down a bus and take that from Nyapul to Pokhara. There was one last bridge in Nyapul that we crossed over. And then after that we just had to work our way to Nyapul bus station. Nyapul was relatively big and spread out. There was still a bit of trekking to do after we reached the outer Nyapul limits. But we continued to make progress. Oh, this is the last bridge that you're seeing right here. This is the last suspension bridge to the whole trek. And then after that bridge, we were pretty much where we needed to be. Alright guys, looks like I've made it back to Nyapul, and I have completed the Annapurna Circuit. Oh boy, I feel exhausted after all those days. I am ready to get back to civilization.